Hi, my name is Brandon Dilgat, and when looking at the theme of this year's event, What is Life?, I couldn't help but look at it through the viewpoint of a recent college graduate who may be asking, what is the purpose of life? Or more importantly, what is the meaning of me going to college for 4 years, spending thousands of dollars, if I don't know what the heck I'm going to do when I graduate? And there's that inner struggle of what's the purpose of me being here? My story takes you back to February 2008, where I was asking those exact questions as a 21-year-old senior at University of San Diego. And it was at that time I received a phone call on Valentine's Day from not my girlfriend, not my mom, but from my old football coach back in high school. And he had an opportunity for me to play American football in Italy. Now, it was always my dream to play football in college, and it was a dream that never came true. And I had foregone my dreams to play any organized sport like that. But he revived it, and he said, you know what? After you graduate, spend 3 months in Italy and play for the Italian Football League. And the Italian Football League, the Italians don't all play football. Well, the past 30 years, there's been about 12 to 15 teams spread all around Italy. From as south as Sicily with the Catania Elephants, and as north as Milan with the Milano Rhinos. And it's a group of Italians who play football together, and they allow 3 American players on each team and a group of American coaches to coach them. And it was hard for me to agree to play because I needed to find the highest paid 9-to-5 job and get out in the real world and start plugging away at my 401k. I can't do this. This is not reality. To which my coach replied, Brandon, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Touche. So I took the job. And 2 weeks before I left for Italy, I fractured my foot. And I was told by doctors I would never be able to play again. But I didn't believe it, and I still went. And I landed in Bologna, and I met with the coaches and the owners, and they found out that I wasn't going to be able to play after my physical. And so they gave me an ultimatum. I either coach for free or go back home, because they were not going to pay me to play football for their team. Now, if I thought that I had some questions about my purpose in life back in San Diego, here I am sitting in a old dusty office of a dusty room next to a football field that has no grass, and I'm being told that I'm not going to be able to be paid to play. I'm not even going to be able to play. So I had even more questions than answers. And that was a blow to my ego, and I didn't know what to go next. But I stayed. I've never coached before. But you know what? I needed to do something. And, you know, I love football enough that, hey, you know, let's give it a shot. It's better than trying to stick my resume out back in San Diego and finding a job, right? Well, it was very hard. But when I showed up that first day of practice and I saw the players that I was about to coach, it really dawned on me that this is bigger than me and that this team needed a coach and they needed me. And so I had to step up or step out. And I stepped up. I had to coach the receivers, about 12 players out of the 35 that were on the team. And none of them spoke English. In fact, only 2 players on the entire team of the Bologna Doves spoke English. And their ages ranged from 18 to 52. And none of the Italians got paid to play. This was all voluntary. After their 9-to-5 jobs or their school, they feed their families, and at 8 o'clock, 3 nights a week, they come out to play football for a couple hours. Talk about dedication. Talk about passion. And all they wanted to do was listen to me speak and teach them how to play the sport they loved. That was humbling. And so I was forced to find a way to communicate to these guys without knowing much of the Italian language. And I had to tap into each one of their motivations. Now, of the 12 players that I was coaching, they came from very different socioeconomic backgrounds. There was one 18-year-old kid who was a soccer goalie and whose parents couldn't send him to summer school or anything because they didn't have any money, so they kicked him outside and said, find another sport to play between seasons. So he showed up on our football field, had never watched a game of football in his life. And then I had a 35-year-old investment banker who has a wife and 3 kids, and he drove 40 miles to this practice field 3 nights a week to play. Very different motivations. Very different reasons for showing up at that one practice field each night. But they all had one common dream. They all had one common passion. They all wanted to play football. And that really gave me a broad perspective of there's more to this than just showing up and punching a time card. If I thought I was going to survive a 9-to-5 job in an industry that I not particularly care about without much passion for doing whatever I was doing, I was going to be a sorry soul. So as I look back, I was glad that I showed up on that football field and stepped up to the plate. So here I am at 21 years old teaching a 35-year-old investment banker how to run a curl route. I'm teaching an 18-year-old kid who doesn't speak a lick of English how to block somebody. And I realized that a lot of these kids didn't really necessarily want to learn the X's and O's of playing football. They wanted to learn how to be a football player. They wanted to know what it was like to carry themselves out as an American football player. And they were all looking at me for the guidance. And I had to grow up because they recited what I said every day in practice. They imitated what I did. And they copied just the way I dressed, from the way I prepped with my cleats, the way I used my tape, the way I used my mouth guard and the black underline for your eyes. They copied everything. So I realized that I was in a very powerful position because I was very influential in how they carry themselves on the football field. And connecting with them socially outside the football field, I realized that there was a bigger family picture than just showing up and playing football. And while I may have just been educating them X's and O's for those few hours a night, overall I was validating their worth as a football player. And I was giving them meaning to their lives in one small little area. Because while they had to live in, day out, and do what they had to do, they came for just a sliver of time a week. They came to do what they loved at their own expense. So for those 3 months, I coached. Not played, but I coached football with no pay. I was only guaranteed a roof over my head. But I was provided for by the players and the coaches. And I can honestly tell you that I never worked a day in those 3 months. And I don't know exactly what my purpose in life is coming 3 years past that time. But I do know that whatever I plan to do in my life, I have to be passionate about it. Because when I find that I am really doing what I love, it'll never be considered a job. and it'll never be considered work for me. And I didn't get that. I did not understand that until I flew to Italy and sat there in front of those coaches and decided that I was going to be a coach. Something about teaching forces you to have to take the camera from you and point it to them, to those who you're teaching. And I'm grateful for my time as a coach, and while I may not be a coach in my career, I do know that dreams and reality can coexist together. And if I can answer the question, what is life, or what is the purpose of life, it would be exactly that, to do what you love, because life's not about work. And you will find your purpose, and you will find your meaning through what you do. So if you do what you love, then you will find that answer. Thank you.